For more, let's cross to Jamil Shadeh, columnist for Universal Online, UOL. Thank you for speaking with us here on France 24.
My pleasure.
So we knew it was going to be a love-in between Jair Bolsonaro and Benjamin Netanyahu, but this joint visit to the Wailing Wall, what do you make of it?
Yeah, this is the symbol of a major shift in foreign policy in Brazil. You had, for the last 40 years, governments from the right, from the left, from center, take a very balanced position regarding the Middle East and especially the Israeli-Palestine issue. Now, as you said, the visit to the wall obviously is a symbol of a shift, but it's not the only one. We saw last week at the UN Brazil voting against Palestine in resolutions that traditionally had the support of Brazil. You also had a situation where Brazil, as your correspondent mentioned, is opening a trade mission in Jerusalem. Obviously, it's a step back from the embassy, but it is a sign that things will change. Now, obviously, you have a shift. The question is whether this will actually mean some kind of benefit to Brazil, or actually it will be just a political signal in this case.
And we're seeing rifts appearing even inside of Bolsonaro's coalition. So the question is, it's a very strong statement to go visit the Wailing Wall in the company of a sitting prime minister, because this is the old city of Jerusalem where you have holy sites for Muslims, Christians, and Jews. Is everybody inside of Bolsonaro's coalition on board with that?
Not really, and this is he's basically finding out that even his supporters are questioning some of the moves. Your correspondent already mentioned the fact that the Arab countries are very much putting pressure, and the Arab world is a very, very important market for Brazilian exports, especially on meat and other agriculture products. You had already the Arab League meeting and basically signalizing to Brazil that we'll have some problems if this goes forward. You had the Palestinian ambassador in Brasilia being called to explain basically the situation. So you have a situation where exports that actually supported Bolsonaro during the election time are now very worried about this. Now you have the other side, obviously, the evangelical groups, also one of the bases of Bolsonaro. The evangelical groups are obviously very happy with this trip, very happy with the at least the measures that are being taken. Now, the question is whether he's going to be able to balance on one side the exporters and the other side some of the evangelical voters.
All right, appealing to evangelical voters, but does that explain why Bolsonaro made a point of making Israel his first stop as an official visit outside of the Americas?
You're very right. The evangelicals are not the only explanation. Actually, you have a very clear sign that there is an alliance being formed between Brazil, the US, and Israel. Brazil distancing itself from the non-aligned movement as well, from other developing countries. So you have a foreign policy shift, but you also have a technological and I would say a military and security shift as well. Brazil will most likely see some kind of I would say some imports from military equipment and also in security issues with Israel. It remains to be seen exactly where this contracts will be applied in Brazil. The reality is obviously Brazil faces a huge challenge in terms of security. You have 60,000 deaths, homicides a year in Brazil. Obviously, it's a market as well.
And for the private sector, the Israeli private security sector.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is a market. The fact that Brazil is perhaps coming closer to Israel in these cases show that actually some of the contracts that some of the cities, not only the federal government, but also municipal level will be offering, some of these contracts will be obviously being taken by Israeli firms. So it has a logic, a trade logic as well into this, but also military and security-wise as well.
Jamil Shadeh, columnist at UOL, many thanks for speaking with us from Geneva.